Hey there, gang. Welcome back to Papa's Model Workshop. I'm Papa, and this is my workshop. So we're getting back to the Peterbilt that I've been talking to you about for quite a while, and I've gotten some work done on it. And as you can see, I have some of the parts that are all taped off. Now, the box shows the Peterbilt in red and white. Now I'm going to do this color, with the color up here and the white in the middle. But I'm not going to go with red and white though. Um, Tow trucks and so forth, they kind of have a lot of tow trucks that are in red. I don't want to do the same old thing. So I've been going back and forth on what colors to use for this. I thought about a yellow and white. I thought about orange and white, blue and yellow, which I actually kind of like a lot. But ultimately, what I settled on was a turquoise and white color combination. And the color that I'm going to be using is an MCW enamel. It's called Seafoam Turquoise, and this is the color right there. Okay, MCW. All right, and there is, hold on, let me turn this around. There you go. And just in case you want to try this color out for yourself, you can see the separation. Okay, I haven't mixed this yet, but anyway, yeah, I think that's the color. And then this is the white. So I think that'll look pretty good. That turquoise and white color, I like it. And I don't watch a whole lot of regular TV, but the one show that I do like to watch is a show called Highway Through Hell. I might have mentioned this before. If I haven't, I'm being redundant. I'm sorry. But anyway, quickly on this, this is a reality show, I guess you'd call it. And it's tow truck companies and recovery, heavy recovery, that kind of thing up in the mountains of British Columbia. And one of the tow truck companies, their trucks are in a turquoise color. I always thought that looked cool, so that's what I'm going to go with for this Peterbilt wrecker. All right, so everything is taped off. I'm going to do the white color first. This was a real challenge getting this in, with that angle and so forth. There was a lot of things that went into doing this, because these rear panels sit in the back on the frame, and in order for me to line everything up correctly, okay, here I'll put this in its proper order, okay. All right, so you would go with the cab, the back panels, and then, of course, you have your hood. Again, this is just sitting on the clamps there, so it's not lined up perfectly. But the point is, to get all of this lined up properly, I had to put this frame together first so I could do a mock-up with this rear panel, so I could do all the tape lines so they were straight. So this was a little bit tedious, but I think I got it done. I hope I've got it all in the right place. I think I did. So anyway, let's go over to the paint booth and let's get started with this. I'm going to start with the white color first. If you're doing a two-tone, you want to go with your lighter color first. And in this case, that'll be the white. Okay, so I'll see you over at the paint booth. All right, we're over here at the paint booth. Got the compressor going. Oh, let me turn on the paint booth. Okay, and we have our MCW white color. There we go. Okay, and we are going to thin that with Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. I'm mixing this at a ratio of 1:1. All right, so I'm just going to simply dump this in. All right, and we will just mix this. Now, MCW calls for adding a little bit of hardener to this, and I do. I've got the hardener. In fact, I've got a few bottles of the hardener. I'll show you. All right, this is MCW's hardener right there. And as I mentioned, I have a couple of bottles You know what? I couldn't get the cap off. All of them. So I guess we're going to have to forego the hardener. I took a vice grips and every other thing, and I just can't get the top off of those hardeners. So anyway, like I said, we'll have to forego the hardener. I'm going to go with my Iwata trigger handle. Okay, our paint is mixed, all mixed up here, just like me, a little mixed up. And I'm using a 0.5 needle, and the compressor is set at 18 psi. Right, so let's get going, and let's start shooting this. All right, and you know what I'm going to do? Hang on, and I'm making a mess too. Hold on. Okay, I'm back, and one of the things that I want to do before I start to get going on the piece that I'm painting is I want to test it on a spoon first. Okay, so let's see how this. All right, there we go. I actually got this idea from watching Craig's Corner. That's another YouTube channel. I watch a lot of his videos. Craig's Corner is a great channel to tune into. I've learned a lot by watching him. And like I said, I got this idea from watching his channel. I don't know him personally or anything. I just know him from his channel. And, you know, this is something that I got from him. So I want to give credit where credit is due. So, okay, so let's get started with this. See, this airbrush, for some reason, it feels, the trigger feels sticky. It might be time for a complete breakdown and cleaning of this airbrush. It's been a while since I've done that. Okay, and set that aside. And in with our cab. And you know I'm spraying white against white, so it's hard to see this on camera. It's hard for me to see it in real life. I got a little bit of schmutz down there. I'm not really worried about that because after I start putting things together, you're not going to see that, so I'm not going to really worry about that little bit of schmutz right there. All right. And into the panels. And the trick to taping things off is making sure that you burnish down your edges. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not getting a whole lot of exhaust here today. It seems like these fumes are building up. I think I have to change. Yeah, you think? Look at this. I think it's time to change that filter too. Got to put some time in for maintenance every once in a while. All right. And I think that's going to actually do it for the white. So let me pause this a second, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm getting a lot of fumes that are backing up. So yeah, it's definitely time to get a new filter in here. Okay, so airbrush is empty. All right. And I'm just going to quickly show you how I clean my airbrush. I'm not going to do a full breakdown here, but you know, with an empty airbrush now, I'm just going to take Q-tip, just kind of get some of that excess, you know, the heavy excess that's left in the cup out of there. All right. And this is just straight lacquer thinner. Now, I did my research before using MCW, and according to MCW, I'm sorry, my hand's in the way. According to MCW, how's that? I'll use my left hand. Even though I'm righty, I will use my left hand so I can do this so you can see it. And hopefully I won't spill this with my left hand. All right, and then I have a paint pot right here to shoot this out. All right, so that's what I do. I fill it up with thinner and swash it around with a Q-tip. And then I shoot this into my paint pot. A lot of times I'll just shoot it into the filter back here, but as I said, this doesn't seem to want to vent for me today. I think I really need some maintenance on this paint booth. That's it, just shooting it in there. Okay. Now, I started to mention the lacquer thinner. I'm not using my Mr. Color leveling thinner to clean this out. The thinner that I'm using, this is thinner that I put in a ketchup bottle or mustard bottle, whatever you want to use this for. And this is just cheap lacquer thinner I got from the hardware store. So rather than using my expensive Mr. Color leveling thinner, what I'm doing is I'm using the cheap thinner to do the cleaning. Okay, and I'm getting this right down in there. All right, and also what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my index finger, okay, and put it right over the tip here. Let's see if you can see that. You see how it's bubbling up? Can you see that? And what that's doing is it's back flushing, all right? And now I'm going to dump this. I'm not going to shoot that through. Now what I'm going to do again here is I'm going to put a little bit of thinner in here again. I'm going to take a pipette and I'm going to flush it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like that, okay? All right, now there's nothing in there, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to dump that thinner here in the receptacle, all right? And then one more time, I'm going to put a little bit of thinner in here and just blow it through, all right? And one more thing I'm going to do, and this is an important aspect of cleaning between your colors and so forth, is you want to get up into the tip here, right? So I'm going to actually, you know what this is? This is, I think it's called gum. And this is something you buy at the drugstore to clean your teeth, in between your teeth. That's what this is. And, well, for me, I use it for my airbrush. So I'm going to put a little bit of thinner right inside there. I'm going to take this and just kind of go around the edges, all right? I'm going around the edges because I don't want to hit the needle. All right, and then I'll shoot that. And yeah, it's nice and clean. All right, our cup is nice and clean. Now, normally what I do is I will take a tissue and I'll put just a little bit in here and I'll shoot into the tissue to make sure my airbrush is nice and clean. Now, the only thing is that I'm shooting into a white tissue and I was using white paint. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to try to determine anything with a white paint and a white tissue, but I'm really pretty confident that everything is cleared out of here. This is the procedure that I always use. So anyway, that's my little procedure for cleaning the airbrush. Now this is nice and clean. So I'm going to go over and we're going to put the stuff into the dehydrator that we just painted. Okay, over here at the dehydrator, put our stuff in. Okay, and this dehydrator is great. I love this dehydrator for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is this has a front door to it that seals just like a microwave. A lot of other dehydrators, it has a sliding door where it slides completely off. Nothing wrong with those. It's just my personal preference. I just happen to prefer this door here that that closes and seals. That's all. But if you have a dehydrator where the door slides off, I'm willing to bet you that is just fine. And there we go. I got all my pieces in there. Okay. And I usually set at 120 degrees. Okay. For a half an hour, 30 minutes. So a half an hour from now, this will be all dried and cured, and I'll be able to remove the tape, and we'll be able to do the turquoise. All right, so hang on. All right, so we're back here at the paint bench, and everything is inside the dehydrator cooking. So while we're waiting for all of that to cook in there, I just wanted to share something with you. And again, I got this idea from Craig's Corner. And the thing that I saw on his channel was this. A logbook for your builds. And yeah, see, I named mine Papa's Model Workshop. Anyway, this is terrific. It gives you a way to record everything from the start date, the scale that you're building in, the kit manufacturer, the subject, whether it's a 66 Mustang like I just finished for Linda, or anything. Put all that right there, and then you can also record your notes and research, which I actually enjoy doing that in the beginning of a build. I'll go on Google and Pinterest and a number of other places, and I enjoy doing research before I begin the build. And then you get a second page if you made any modifications. In many instances, I'll use a pre-wired distributor. I guess you could put that under upgrades too. I don't know. The kinds of decals that you use. Sometimes I use Slicks decals. And you can mention all of that. Your paint, in this case, we're using MCW enamel, gloss white. And the mixing ratio, as I just mentioned over at the paint booth, was 1:1 with the leveling thinner. But this is nice because, sometimes if you're doing a build in the future and you liked something on a previous build, you can reference exactly what you did to duplicate maybe a paint color or something. So this is a nice thing to get. And again, credit to Craig's Corner for giving me that idea. And I want to give you the proper spelling if you ever want to look him up on YouTube. He spells Craig with a K and Corner with a K. So he's worth checking out. I don't know Craig, okay? So I'm not stomping for him for any particular reason. And, I'm just passing along what I have learned from others. Now, this is, I mentioned Linda's Mustang. And, here I have the start date and the completion date. But, you can put all of that right into your notes, okay? And, here I have all of the paint mixing ratios for the Mustang and so forth, and other stuff. I used the pre-wired Gopher distributor with the red wiring, so this is helpful. The other thing I've mentioned in the past is I use these painting cards, and it has a white primered background, gray and black, and you can just shoot your color against all three of the primered backgrounds to see what desired finish you would like to choose from. And of course, you can write down the pertinent information down there. So something like this, I can just save it right with the notes. So I guess it's a little bit redundant if you put the paint notes there and there, but for what it's worth. So I wanted to just mention that to you. You can get this on Amazon, and the reason, by the way, I have this separated, in the office, I copied a whole bunch of those pages that I just showed you in the book, and by having them, free like this, I can take a hole punch. I've got a 3-ring hole punch in the office, and I'll be able to make a whole bunch of copies and 3-ring punch them and then put this into a 3-ring binder. And that way I can, put separators in between that have a little pocket, and I can put this right inside. So just a couple of little tips to, help you along maybe in your at your workbench. And that's just something that I learned that I thought was kind of cool. And by the way, speaking of giving credit where credit is due, and I meant to mention this over at the paint booth, and I forgot, where you saw me take the pipette and flush back and forth inside the cup. I actually learned that by watching a guy called Barbatos Rex on YouTube. I've learned an awful lot by watching him also, so go check him out. And anyway, that's still cooking, and it's getting a little bit late in the day here. Normally I do my videos in the morning. I don't have the grandchildren down here right now, so that's why it's so quiet. I don't even have the dogs down here. I'm all by my lonesome down here today. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the turquoise perhaps in another video. And in the meantime, let me get the word of the day. Hold on, where is it? I found it. Okay. Word of the day today is hoopty. Hoopty. So as usual, I'm not going to tell you what it means. You're going to have to look it up. All right. So listen, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about the videos or the channel. And, of course, you can go to my Facebook page at Papa's Model Workshop. And my email address is papasmodelworkshop@gmail.com. And as usual, thank you very much for coming back and taking a look. And if this is your first time, welcome. And, if you're brand new to the channel, well, then you were spared some of the earlier videos where I was just awful. So I'm still learning how to do this. Not that I'm really that great at video just yet, but I was worse in the beginning. So anyway, thanks a lot for checking in with me. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week, okay?